Hey, you geeks! We all know Sokka.
I will give up meat and sarcasm. Okay? Ow! That's all I got. It's pretty much my whole identity. Sokka, the meat and sarcasm guy.
Since I, too, love meat and sarcasm, I've always had a soft spot for Sokka. He's a boy in way over his head, and too stubborn to let that stop him. He's on a mission to be a great water tribe warrior like his father before him, even if he has to take on the entire Fire Navy alone.
Sokka, get out of the way!
An incredibly brave mission, since at first, Sokka does not have the skills to win. But Sokka's warrior spirit will not be held back. He will fight to overcome any obstacle on his journey to know himself and know his enemy. To become a great warrior, Sokka learned to fight without bending, then how to be a man and a leader. Lastly, he learned about his enemy. For Sokka, being a warrior is more than just fighting. It's about protecting his family.
Being a man is knowing where you're needed the most. And for you right now, that's here protecting your sister.
After being left behind because he was too young and too weak, Sokka would not let anything stop him from fighting for those he cares about, not even himself. Non-bender. One of the first things we learn about Sokka is that he doesn't like bending.
Why is it that every time you play with magic water, I get soaked?
It's not magic, it's water bending. And it's...
Yeah, an ancient art unique to our culture, blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm just saying that if I had weird powers, I'd keep my weirdness to myself.
It's a skill he constantly feels the need to compensate for. This is where we see his engineering skills put to most use during the first season.
There are ventilation shafts throughout these mines. All Aang has to do is send an air current from that vent to this one right here. The boulder levitates and ta-da! Fake earthbending. I seal the lamp oil inside an animal skin casing. Shayu lights the oil-soaked twine and ta-da! Fake firebending.
He even fakes airbending, to an extent. Even for all his inventions, he's still touchy about the not bending thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't count you. You know, no bending and all.
I can still fight!
Sokka has always defined himself as a warrior, but as his friends become more and more competent fighters on their own, his identity as the fighter is threatened. Sokka did learn new fighting techniques everywhere he went. We don't see him acknowledge his inferiority complex until Season 3, Sokka's Master.
All you guys can do this awesome bending stuff, like putting out forest fires and flying around and making other stuff fly around. I can't fly around, okay? I can't do anything.
By learning the sword, Sokka becomes confident in his fighting skills once again. Though it is not the sword, rather his own inventive mind and his trusty boomerang that succeed when bending fails, to take out Sparky Boom Man.
All right, buddy, don't fail me now.
Well, not take out. This is a family show, and it would not do to have a character directly kill someone on screen. Boomerang indirectly causing Combustion Man to self-destruct is fair game. Sokka's character comes full circle when he compliments Toph for metal bending.
Have I ever mentioned how sweet it is that you invented metal bending?
You could stand to mention it more.
Not only is this a recognition of her bending ability, but he's confident in his own skills to acknowledge her inventiveness. That had also been his, quote, thing. Sokka learned to support his friends even when they outshine him. Manliness. Sokka at first sees being a warrior as a man's duty. An easy mistake to make since all the men in his village left to go be warriors, leaving young Sokka with a bunch of women. The lesson Sokka learned was clear. Women can be competent at many things, but being a warrior was not one of them.
Girls are better at fixing pants than guys, and guys are better at hunting and fighting and stuff like that. It's just the natural order of things.
At least until he met Suki.
Wait a second, there's no way a bunch of girls took us down.
On Kyoshi Island, Sokka gets served a nice slice of humble pie, while learning that being a warrior is not about one's sex. It's about how one behaves.
The silk thread symbolizes a brave blood that flows through our veins. The gold insignia represents the honor of the warrior's heart.
Bravery and honor.
Sokka's never lacked the bravery of being a warrior. He just complains about danger because his protective nature leads him to want to avoid trouble before it happens. When trouble does happen, Sokka is quick to protect his friends, even if it means putting himself in harm's way.
Then why are you acting so overprotective?
It's so hard to lose someone you care about.
His desire to protect others and his desire to prove himself as a man like his father come into conflict in the season 2 finale. Sokka finally has a chance to become the man he's always wanted to be, a chance to fight with his father and the men of his village. Here, he does get the affirmation he's been looking for so long.
Sokka, you don't have to prove anything to me. I'm already proud of you. And I've always known you're a great warrior.
But once he learns that Katara is in trouble, he has to make a choice. Live out his childhood dream of manliness, or act like a man and defend his sister. It's really not a choice. He made the same decision back in Bato of the Water Tribe, to be where he's needed and not where he wants to be. With his father's affirmation, Sokka's definition of warrior shifts from focusing on being a man to focusing on being a leader. This was also foreshadowed in Bato of the Water Tribe when Sokka came of age ice dodging.
For Sokka, the mark of the wise. The same mark your father earned.
Sokka's leadership anxiety comes again during the Day of Black. Even worse for Sokka is that his invasion plan ultimately failed. Sokka has to cope with failing to protect his friends and family. Though one short, life-changing vacation with Zuko to infiltrate a high-security Fire Nation prison later, Sokka gets it all back. He gets to fight alongside his father to protect his friends and family, while also respecting that they can fight for themselves.
That's some girl.
Tell me about it.
We get to see Sokka grow from a boy to a man to a leader, all in his quest to become a mighty warrior. The enemy. Last and littlest of Sokka's 3 arcs is his lesson in who the enemy is, but I do think it's one of his more important lessons. Sokka begins the series with a very clear idea of who the enemy is.
Did you see that crazy bolt of light? He was probably trying to signal the Fire Navy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's a spy for the Fire Navy. You can tell by that evil look in his eye.
Although he never sunk to Jet's, dare I say, utilitarian worldview of him against the world, Sokka was able to keep a clear distinction between soldiers and civilians.
Jet, he's just an old man. He's Fire Nation, search him. But he's not hurting anyone.
Sokka may have saved the town Jet wanted to destroy, but it didn't mean that he liked the people. He certainly wasn't thrilled at the prospect of Aang learning firebending from a firebender, even if the firebender was a deserter.
We've got to go see him. He can train me.
We're not gonna go find some crazy firebender.
Book 2 doesn't really change Sokka's views about firebenders. When the gang gets to the Fire Nation in Book 3, Sokka's prejudice remains unchallenged.
We're in enemy territory. Those are enemy birds.
Sokka doesn't have one big revelation moment. It's more of a slow change. As Aang befriends the kids in the Fire Nation school, then Katara heals a Fire Nation village. This is the most important of his lessons because without it, he could never have achieved his first 2 arcs. Sokka's swordmaster was a Fire Nation warrior who was able to look beyond Sokka's nationality.
But why would you agree to train someone from the Water Tribe?
The way of the sword doesn't belong to any one nation. Knowledge of the arts belongs to us all.
Then, of course, Zuko is the prince of the Fire Nation who tried to kill them. Originally, Sokka was all for just letting him die.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Let's bring the guy who's constantly trying to kill us.
But without trusting Zuko, Sokka could never have found his redemption as a leader.
I know, I had the same reaction. After all he's done, it was hard to trust him. But he's really proven himself, and I never would have found you without his help.
Sokka became a warrior by overcoming his prejudices. He became confident in his skills and his friends. He started out as brave, not just cautious. It took bravery to face his insecurities. Although bravery alone is not enough to make a great warrior, it is the seed that pushes Sokka to become the warrior who, with the help of 2 women, took down a fleet of Fire Nation airships and saved the world. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like to see more. Your patronage is greatly appreciated.